the Agenda 21. A total of 178 nations agreed to the Agenda 21. A total of 178 nations agreed because this international to the Agenda 21. A total of 178 nations agreed because this international agreement promised to bring big money for going green.
Wow.
Once signed, Canada became a UN member state, a nation state, and all of our towns and cities were in a sense abandoned and merged with others to form UN city-states, of which Ottawa is now one.
Yep, it sure
In
is.
the year 2000, we saw our countries being governed by the direction of the United Nations, the G7, the G20, the Council of Foreign Relations, the World Bank,
Is it broken?
the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, and a lesser-known organization called KICLEI, the International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives. This is an unelected international organization that is partnered with the Government of Canada to provide information for decision-making to all our local councils across Canada through the Federation of Canadian Municipalities.
It's a coup.
In 1994, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities partnered with the Partners for Climate Protection Program and sent a municipal primer to all of our municipalities subtitled Promoting Sustainable Development through Local Strategic Action. Let's define what sustainable development is. Sustainable development is a term that was coined in the Brundtland Commission, and it states that land cannot be treated as an ordinary asset controlled by individuals. Instead, public control of land use is indispensable. That means that sustainable development is an agenda that is against private property rights. On page 9 of the municipal primer, which was also sent by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities in 1994, the same year they created the program, is a flow chart clearly outlining how Agenda 21, it says it right there, would be implemented through Canadian municipalities. And if you notice the means of implementation, it says promoting education, public awareness, and training, and providing information for decision making. And that is exactly what the Partners for Climate Protection Program does. They provide information for decision making to our councillors across the country based on Agenda 21, or UN directives, as they like to call it now. So we can use that word too when we go in and do our demonstrations. We can call it UN directives, but we're talking about Agenda 21, and we're letting them know that it's the same thing. So, the supporting rationale for this program is found in their joining resolution, which is on their website, the Partners for Climate Protection Program, and it says 3 easy steps. The staff downloads this resolution, for our council in the meeting, and it looks good, they adopt it, and the next thing we know, all of our municipal plans are being drafted by the International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives.
A coup.
A coup. So the supporting rationale for this program states that it is well established that climate change is increasing the frequency of extreme weather events, and these pose a serious threat to our environment, our health, our jobs, and our economy. And that Canada is committed to limiting the global temperature increase to below 2 degrees Celsius, according to the Paris Climate Agreement. So this echoes what is said in the municipal primer, and the municipal primer of 1994 goes on to say that a lack of scientific certainty shall not be used for postponing sustainable development. the land grab. Okay?
Yeah. Another coup.
Yes.
Jesus.
So let's jump ahead 30 years to the year 2024, 2023 in which we live now. Do you think the science tells us a little bit more? I think so. Recently, the World Climate Declaration came out by Clintel, signed by almost 1,900 scientists in the field, stating that there is no climate emergency. And they lay out their points, and all their signatures with their credentials are in that World Climate Declaration. Only 0.3% of published scientists stated in their papers that recent warming was mostly man-made. Scientific facts. And I'm just going to say, for those listening and for those watching, that everything I'm about to say, I have the references for from peer-reviewed studies. Okay?
Good stuff.
And that's all on the website available to everyone. If we want to back everything we say with facts, okay? So the Earth's orbit and tilt drive the glacial and interglacial changes. That's a well-established fact. The geological archive reveals that the Earth's climate has been changing ever since this planet has existed. A little ice age ended as recently as 1850, so it's no surprise that we're in a period of warming. This research alone would suggest that human activities have little impact on the global climate compared to natural factors. And it is absolutely impossible to limit the global temperature increase to below 2 degrees Celsius. We're actually in one of the coldest periods in Earth's history. If you look back at the medieval warming period, it was much warmer than it was today, and that, back in the time of Rome, right?
Another coup.
So, the other issue is, and I think it'd be great if I actually pulled up my slideshow so I can show you these scientific facts here. Let me just do that for you. Sorry for the gap. We do have a great team that is taking all of my articles and putting them in order.
Good.
But I just do the research and I throw it up here, and now there's a team of people that are taking it all, printing it out, and putting it into a workbook for everyone. And that's going to be really, really helpful. So, but I did do a slideshow presentation, so this can be used in your deputations when you go in. And you can see it, just jump down to the slide where I am now.
The last slide is.
Yeah. I should have just pulled this up. Because basically, I'm following the same order. The presentation that we want to give across the country, it's the same facts, because we're dealing with the same problem all across the country. The same municipal primer, the same Partners for the Climate Protection Program. So, in a sense, it makes it easier for us, right? We're dealing with the same issue everywhere.
Same entity.
Yes. So, again, I'll just jump down to where I was. That's means of implementation, information for decision making, and their supporting rationale. The World Climate Declaration, and then the scientific facts. So as I was saying, the Earth's orbit and tilt drive glacial and interglacial changes. The geological archive reveals the fact that the Earth's climate has varied as long as the planet has existed. We just came out of a little ice age. She's off the screen for some reason. And we break down their arguments, guys.
Yep.
If this is their supporting rationale, that they're trying to limit the temperature increase to below 2 degrees Celsius, we just show them that they can't, right? And we reason with the counselors, which is a lot easier to do than reasoning with Justin Trudeau. We can't even talk to him, right?
Nope.
It's just a puppet.
So they're basing all of this on the research done by the IPCC. That stands for the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. And all of their research is done with computer models. So just like Regina Watel was talking about today, how their information for the vaccines, I shouldn't say that if we're live, I'm sorry for the,
Go ahead.
Yeah, their research is based on computer models. It's the same with this climate change. They're not basing it on reproducible studies in real life.
Just modeling.
It's just computer models, right? So that is the main source of research for the climate protection program, and this is showing that their predictions are way off of the actual temperature increases.
Good.
So there's a gap between the real world and the modeled world, and that tells us that we're far from understanding climate change, at least with computer models. And then we're going to break down their argument and give them a little grade 2 lesson in climate, right, and in what CO2 is. So the IPCC models exaggerate the effect of greenhouse gases. CO2 is not a pollutant. It is the basis of all life on Earth. CO2 is not even the primary greenhouse gas. Water vapor is. Is water vapor a pollutant?
No.
No. CO2 only makes up 0.04% of the Earth's atmosphere. And if it drops below 0.02, everything dies on the planet. So, also the warming effect of CO2 has been found over and over again, that when you increase the concentration of CO2, the warming effect of that CO2 declines. So at a certain point you can add more and more and more and it won't increase the temperature at all. So most people don't know that. CO2 is actually beneficial when we add it into our atmosphere. It is plant food. You can see here, they use it in greenhouses all the time to increase growth in the plants. And it's the same if we add it into the atmosphere. Additional CO2 increases global plant biomass in the whole entire Earth. And it also increases the moisture in the soil, and we're seeing that the Earth isn't turning into a desert, the Earth is actually greening, which is great. So of course, because of this, CO2 is profitable for agriculture. When they double the CO2, we see about 50% increase in our agricultural yields worldwide, right? So it's feeding people. And then their big argument is about extreme weather events. And the World Climate Declaration, the scientists state there that that global warming has not increased natural disasters, and that there is no statistical evidence to show that global warming is intensifying natural disasters or making them more frequent. And for them to say that there is no statistical evidence is a huge statement for those scientists to sign on to. And let's show you why. What we're actually seeing is that most of Antarctica is cooling and gaining ice mass. Extreme heat events are declining. Forest fires across North America are declining. Landfall hurricanes hitting the United States are also declining. Extreme tornadoes are declining. And droughts are declining worldwide. There's also more polar bears today than there were 50 years ago. The last interglacial period, 12,000 years ago, was 8 degrees warmer than it is today, and the polar bears survived. Okay? So, you're doing good. And of note, when they went in to do the Paris Climate Agreement, they refused to let the scientists who did this study in because they were using it all over the news and putting the polar bears out there. And he was like, it's okay guys, I'm the one researching the polar bears. They're doing fine. And they refused to let him in to share his research, okay? So warmer weather means fewer temperature-related deaths. And here we are in Canada. We already know that cold weather kills far more people than warm weather every year, worldwide. So, again, there is no statistical evidence that climate change is increasing the frequency of extreme weather events or posing a serious threat to our natural environment, our health, our jobs, and our economy. And a lack of scientific certainty should be used as a reason for postponing sustainable development. There is ample evidence that CO2 mitigation measures are as damaging as they are costly. And climate policy must respect both scientific and economic realities. Of course, here in Canada, the majority of our country, geographically speaking, is taken up by the boreal forest. And we actually absorb, our trees in Canada absorb over 7 times the amount of carbon dioxide that we put out as a country. So Canada is already a carbon sink. That is the economic reality. So to charge us taxes on an already stressed population when it comes to housing and rent and grocery costs and gas prices isn't good for our generation. So again, there is no climate emergency and there is no cause for panic or alarm. And we strongly oppose the harmful and unrealistic net zero CO2 policies proposed for 2050. Go for adaptation instead of mitigation. Adaptation works no matter the cost. So the benefits of the Partners Climate Protection Program, and it's always good to point out what the benefits are. We don't want to be biased, we want to point that out. They offer tools and networking venues and events and case studies and informational resources and access to their PCP secretaries who offer coaching, that's training, which we saw right here in the flowchart, coaching or training and technical assistance, drafting all of our municipalities' strategic plans, official plans, municipal plans. And of course, it's free, so what's the catch, right? Once we partner with the Partners for Climate Protection Program, our official plans will be based on sustainable development. This will restrict our private property rights, it will limit our ability to sever our land, it will limit mobility, our mobility rights, and it will drive future population growth away from the rural areas and into selected settlement areas, as the municipal primer calls it. This will reduce the tax revenue in smaller municipalities, and reduced tax revenue means reduced services. So we see the results of this with our towns being downgraded to villages, the villages downgraded to hamlets, the hamlets downgraded to the ghost towns as we cut off their services and the post offices start being taken away, the bank outposts, the hospital outposts, the schools, the community centers, slowly all reduce down and everyone has to drive into the cities, right?
Into tents.
So it's killing our small towns. And who is buying up the land, right? So we see the properties that are been in our homes, in our families for generations, being sold off to foreign investors, and the land is being left unoccupied. And they say the other part of sustainable development is that they're saving the land for future generations. Well, our generations are being pulled into the city where there isn't enough housing for us, the rent is too high, working class people are sleeping in their cars, there's a mental health crisis, I wonder why, drug addiction and homelessness all around us. So this is the result of sustainable development.
And it's escalating.
And it's escalating, and this is why we need to do something about it.
And it's a coup.
It is. So our municipal plans, once they're drafted by the International Council or the Partners for Climate Protection Program, there's the International Council logo right there, right? And they're all working together. So once our municipal plans are drafted by them, they're drafted with an emphasis on UN directives, so-called sustainable development, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and of interest to a lot of people here, an emphasis on gender diversity and inclusion. And they're putting that into the municipal climate action plan. So that's where it's coming from. And if you watch your committee meetings for your towns, you'll notice that they talk about their partners are doing up the plan and that they're bringing this in through there. So that's where it's all coming from. So both the climate and that aspect is all coming from the same place. And the headquarters is right down the road. So if you want to go over there every now and then, that's where you want your voice to be heard. Where, like now that we've located where this is happening. Also, and this is really important to show with our councillors across the country. Once they adopt this program, and once they start adopting these strategic plans and official plans and municipal plans, they're in a sense binding their own decision-making options to the UN directives. And this will come with it continual requests to get the council's endorsement to sign off on the sustainable development goals that are basically asking them to commit our public funds to private sustainable development goals and foreign investors under the guise of saving the planet, right? Also, councillors who oppose the UN directives face consequences. They're going against their own scope of decision making, which the previous councils have decided was what they were going to agree to. They agreed to this sometime between now and 1994.
Is that where it's supposed to be, bond or bound?
Bound, and I know I need to update the presentation.
It's perfect.
Thank you. And we see examples of that. There's so many councillors that are facing witch hunts and costing the municipality thousands of dollars to take them to task for simply posting an opinion about an issue of the day, and it's not in line with their gender diversity and inclusion or their or anything like that. So that is something that we want to let our councillors know they have a way to get out of that. Also, our public consultation gets limited because our public surveys are done by the Partners Climate Protection Program. And basically the public surveys, when you go and do them, you get the options of picking your top 3 favorite sustainable development action items. There are no other options, right? And then they say that they've done public consultation. The other thing that they're doing is they've set up NGOs in all of our towns and cities, usually called Sustainable Peterborough, Sustainable Ottawa, right? It's an NGO, and that NGO is working with KICLEI, right? So KICLEI is funding the program, and then they're saying we're getting local consultation from a local NGO, but that local NGO is also working with KICLEI. And the public survey that they're doing is designed by KICLEI. So are they really getting public consultation?
Wow.
Right? And then we go in and we say we want to do a deputation
Yeah.
on
Let's do it.
on KICLEI. And they send a letter like this, like they did to our good friend Jillian, who is here today. And she got a letter back saying your deputation is denied because the council of the corporation of the city of Aurelia bases its decision making under the broad umbrella of the United Nations directives.
Wow.
That's it.
And why? Because Prime Minister Trudeau
Oh.
is aiming to achieve Agenda 2030.
Right.
Okay?
Another coup.
Another coup.
Wow.
Good job.
Nature Conservancy is just one block away from here. Hans George Wise funds all that. He gives billions of dollars to. It's right there. You go in, it looks like Saddam Hussein's cows.
This is why you guys here in Ottawa, you guys are so close to all of these main, like this discovery that the Federation of Canadian Municipalities is in the byward market. And when we come here and we do marches, we march by it every time, not knowing that that is where many of the problems in this country are coming from, is out of that office, right? So if we can refocus our energy and draw attention and public awareness to this, because that's what they did. They did education, public awareness, training, which is what Gather 2030 is starting to do, is provide training so all of us can go out and we can share this information, we can have the facts to back it up, and we can turn this around with truth.
What's the deputation again?
A deputation
Thank
is
you.
when you formally address your town council, and you have to put in a request, and you usually have 5 or 10 minutes, and you have to stick to an agenda.
Thank you.
So the good news is that the PCP program is completely voluntary. Nobody is forcing them to do it. It says right in their joining resolution, it's right here, the municipality can leave the program at any time. The councillors don't know that, okay? We need to let them know that they can leave, and we can help them out. We want to remind the councils too, because a lot of the councillors are new, and they don't always know all this background information, okay? So I'd like to remind the council that the council is the governing body of the municipality, the custodians of all of its power. That is why they need to get councillors to endorse this. They can't do it without the councillors' endorsement.
Oh, really?
They can't, no. So the councillors, we want to let them know that they have a duty to protect the integrity of their positions and to represent the public. That is their duty.
That's their mandate, yeah.
And to consider the interests of the municipality. There's the public and the council. They represent the public, and there's the incorporated aspect of the municipality, which they make the decisions for. And right now, because the municipality has partnered with the United Nations, they have all this extra power, persuasive words, and grant money, and all this stuff coming in, and they're putting it before the council.
Council can
right?
only
And they're
exercise
getting them
powers of the
to sign off on it. And what's interesting is, if you look at if you go to their website, Partners for Climate Protection Program, you'll see that though it's being funded by the Canadian taxpayer through the Government of Canada and KICLEI, or the United Nations through KICLEI Canada, the Government of Canada assumes no liability for this program. So all the liability for all the harm that we talked about our land being sold off, our taxes being charged, the climate taxes, losing our homes, being driven off of our lands, and everything else that's coming out of this, all the harms, it's falling on the councillors, and they don't even know it, okay?
I mean, the mayor?
Yeah, the mayor and the council, that's right.
Wow.
Can we sue them?
So we'll get there, yeah.
All right.
So what we're doing now, we've been doing deputations for just under a year on this stuff. We've had some wins. But what we're finding is that we need to get a better understanding of how recommendations are made to council and what they need to see in order to take our deputation seriously. Because we can go in and I can share everything I just shared. And I can walk out of the room and be like, oh, why didn't they do anything? You know? And it's because if you watch your councils, they need to see clearly worded recommendations.
Right
What
on.
exactly are we asking them, right? Just like it shows in their agendas and stuff like that. So,
Make demands.
so we're making a list of all the UN directed programs so that it's not so vague. Like this recommendation is is better than we were doing, but it's still too vague. So we're going to list all potential programs that they may have partnered with between now and 1994, and actually the Federation of Municipalities goes back to 83, I think. And that's one that we want to get them out of that membership too. All voluntary, all of these programs. So again, we want to be really clear that about what we're recommending. So in this case, this is an example of if your municipality hasn't partnered with this program, and out of over 4,000 municipalities in Canada, only 500 have, all the big ones. But if they haven't, what we can do is go into those rural municipalities and we can say, we recommend that council. Oh, okay, I've changed this around, I'm sorry. But we still want them to do this, okay? We recommend that council direct staff to locate any motions to participate in any UN directed programs, and we'll list them all. since 1992, and we'll go back a little further, to be reconsidered, okay? So what we're asking them there, and what the councillor in Thorold recently did, is he put forward a notice of motion to reconsider the partnership with the Climate Protection Program. So on March 19th, we're going to go in and do deputation with this material, and we're going to recommend that the council support that motion to reconsider. And then we'll go back in and we'll do more deputations, and we're going to go into the IPCC and their arguments and create a multitude of different templates that we can go in and use to address this problem and give them the information. And then we'll provide all the background references to all the statements that
We're talking about the climate change being a hoax
So,
and
the last thing I'll
bringing
show you
disattention to
is
the
how to find out
mayor
if
of
your
our
municipality
cities.
is partnered. So you just go to the website.
This is
Partner
Maggie.
for Climate Protection Program. There we go. And you go to their membership page. There. And you go down and you see where our members are. They put it right there for us, right? Map, Canada. And you can click on your municipality. So this is, I don't want to zoom in too much because it's going to freak out on you. So that's the city of Yellowknife. And it says it partnered with this program in 1998. So you can do that. You can go to your municipality and zoom in and see if it's partnered. And then what you do is you call your clerk's office and send an email. And I'm putting out a step-by-step guide by the end of the week, guys, so I know you're taking notes, and that's really great. But there will be a step-by-step guide for everyone with the exact wording of our requests that we're asking the clerk. So we're basically going to request that the clerk locate the original motion to partner with the Partners for Climate Protection Program and give them the year. And if they have any other questions, we can send them a link to this page, and we can say, it shows that you're a member. You partnered in 1998. Please help us to find the original motion. Because the way it works in councils is, when something passes, those words pass into that archive, right? And they base everything off of that. So what we need to do is we need to find those exact words that were used to bring the program in order to take it out.
96 or 98?
Well,
98.
Yellowknife was, Yellowknife was 1998.
Okay. Okay.
So, and then we're bringing that motion forward to be reconsidered, and we're providing them with this information now, 30 years later. This is a result of sustainable development. This is the information on climate change. These are the issues that is how it is affecting our official plans, our municipal plans, and council's authority and decision-making.
Maggie
options,
is
and
exposing
public consultation.
coup
And we just make our
in our
argument
government
very persuasive, and then
on the
they
climate
really have
change.
no choice but to reconsider that at the very least, and ideally rescind their partnership, rescind the motion, and opt out of that partnership. And then they're unbound from that. Now, there are other UN-directed programs, and we need to find them all. We need to find the UN-directed programs that are libraries, that the Federation of Canadian Libraries has partnered with, right? We need to look at our school boards and our provincial school associations, and then finding here, finding the motion, going into our school boards, going into our library boards, and doing the exact same thing. But the words are the key. The exact words that brought it in, we need to get back on the table for reconsideration. And again, like I said earlier, sometimes our freedoms aren't taken away at gunpoint. They're taken away one piece of paper at a time, one seemingly meaningless rule at a time, like finding the exact motion and making a proper recommendation to your council in a professional, polite way that will have them open to reconsidering these motions and bringing the facts, coming prepared, right, to answer any question. And that's the way. And we have the facts and the truth on our side with all of this. So, and it's so much easier to reason with a room of people, right? We can't really get to Trudeau, but we can get to the councillors that he's working with. And my first deputation in Peterborough, Justin Trudeau flew in the next week to meet with the mayor, the CAO, the mainstream media reporter for the town council, and met in the park, and I knew exactly why he was there. And there's pictures of him. I can show you. I can show you that. Go back here. So this is really how, if you're mad at Trudeau, Wellington Street regulars.
Yeah.
You really want to tick him off.
I want to kick Doug Ford off.
And all people all across the country who are like, what do we do to rile him up? This is it. So I'm just going to go to the blueprint here. And I can show you Trudeau's. There he is there. This is him speaking last year to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. He goes there every year. And what does it say? Local action, national results. Right? Okay? The same with the shots, the jabby jabs. That came in not through him. It was your mayor and councillor your mayor and your CAO. Those two signatures are what mandated that as a bylaw for your city. Okay? So this is kind of where the real action is and where we can really make an impact. And they don't want us to know that local action is being So let me just go to the offensive strategy. So the Gather 2030 newsletter has gathering initiatives, because I think networking is one of our most powerful tools when we come together, meet, work together, reconnect, share solutions, and help each other and build our capacity. And my friend made this logo for us after we had our first big win, and she took the KICLEI logo, and she put the little kicking the ball guy there, and we're going to kick the international council out of our
Yeah, that's right.
And
That's right.
and she also made the Keep Calm and Hold the Line logo too. That's Christina
KICLEI.
in Peterborough. And speaking of networking, this is KICLEI here. And what is it? It is a network of members and experts who are working together through peer exchange and partnership to create systematic change. What is peer exchange?
A coup.
Peer exchange, they're experts. We have experts too. We have clintel.org now, and their World Climate Declaration. And they are the experts on that. We need to get that information to all of the members in this movement so that they can move that forward to create systematic change. And when we find that something works, like, oh my goodness, Maggie went to a little town in Durham and she stopped their official plan, their UN-driven official plan, from being passed. What did she do? That
Yeah.
worked.
Tell me.
If it worked, we need to do that all across the country. We don't need to reinvent. We can definitely develop that information and make it better and more persuasive and localize it, but we don't need to reinvent it. We need to just get that information
Out.
in one spot so everyone can have it. We need to be our own federation of Canadian municipalities.
And
have
she's
our
working
own
on a plan.
resources and tools and networking
So,
venues and events and information.
let's
for
follow
decision
Maggie
making
Hope.
and presentations that we can duplicate all across the country. So I just wanted to Canada, and you'll see most of Canada, geographically speaking, when we're looking at saving the land, is rural. It's not overly populated. Okay, so my focus is on saving the land as best we can, because that's what they want. So if they want us off the land, I want us to save that land. I want that land to be a place where we will have our freedoms, and that we will have our local councils not being infiltrated with Agenda 21. And that way it gives people in the cities an option, right? And at the same time focusing on the cities too. But we can save the majority of Canada if we can save the rural municipalities. And it's easier to go into a rural municipality and show them how these official plans are a death sentence to their municipality, and they'll one after the other, just like in Dummer, say, what she's saying is true.
Yep.
And we can't in good conscience, and good faith, adopt our municipality. And it's time that we stand and be counted. That's what the counselor said in Dummer. It's time we stand and be counted. So we do need to inspire our counselors and let them know that we're there to help them to step into their authority, and we need to be ready to help them. And that's after Dummer, I had to take a pause and research and get my ducks in a row so I can come in and truly help the counselors now and find those motions and find how this happened, right? So we need to train ourselves to be kind of the people staff for the counselors. And I did want to show you the picture of Trudeau coming to. There he is. So a couple days after we did the first deputation, Trudeau came to meet with our mayor, Jeff Leal, and our city CAO.
Wow.
And
Look at his face.
flew into small town Peterborough to let them know, oh, don't worry, it's just one person. So let's not let it be just one person, right? Let's
Look
not let this start
at his
with one person.
face.
And that's why I'm creating all of this, so everyone can have some core information to take it and personalize it, speak it forward in a way that's authentic to you. Because I truly think it's important that we speak to the heart from our own knowledge. So if it means we educate ourselves on this key information, and then we can go in and speak heart to heart with our counselors and mayors. And on that note, most of you know that I was arrested here in Ottawa on the last day when the Emergency Act was called. And all I could think about when I made that decision that I could not move one more step back for these riot police was that all I could think of as a BC girl, okay, so I had lived out in British Columbia, I had just moved to Ontario, and I knew all my friends out in British Columbia would have loved to be here, and they were so supportive of the fact that we were here in Ottawa doing this, right? And all I could think about when I looked back on O'Connor and see the people streaming in, all good people from all across the country, all I could think about was, we're here representing thousands and thousands of people, each one of us, right? So when I made that decision to not back down, you know, that was the line in the line for me. It came to mind all the people all across this country who want to push back but aren't close enough to Ottawa. And I think that's where this inspiration to do this came from, because like finding how these international organizations are infiltrating our entire country through the local municipalities gives everyone across the country something that they can do. If they can't get to Ottawa in 6 hours, right? And just like in Europe, those countries, everyone can get to their capital within 6 hours, and they're 10 times the population as Canada. But everyone in Canada can get to their local town hall in 6 hours. And can you imagine they're used to having 0 to 2 people show up for a committee meeting or a council meeting. Can you imagine if we show up with 20 people, 100 people? How hard would that be for us? Not that hard.
No.
Not that hard to get 100 people to a council meeting if we were ready to go. And that's what we're doing. I'm sure you guys saw Joel Sussman in Aurora. He did an amazing deputation, had 100 people there. He's a wordsmith. He took the original words from Peterborough, put that into an amazing speech, delivered it, and now all we have to do is take Joel Sussman's speech on smart cities, and you guys in the cities can go in there with that template, bring forward a properly worded recommendation with the original motion, say, reconsider, you know? So that's where we're going.
They won't let us record.
Yeah. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
They won't let us record. That's a just comment.
But they record the meeting. So,
Yeah, but we.
and they should let you record. We
No, they
record
don't.
in ours.
Okay.
Maggie, it's not about property. More than just property rights involved. Water rights too. You're trying to control the water that's happening in the states and here.
Yes.
And these the city council are doing the hardcore grovers that's in those city councils are not going to listen anyway, unless you force them to through some of the things you're saying. And they want to destroy the nation state. That's the root of the whole thing.
Yeah.
To be globalist, that's the root of the whole thing.
Yes.
I'm way down. I want to take you in this building and show you how close the government is to Han George Wise when you're done here.
Oh,
You know, it's
yeah.
just one block away. You won't believe it.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to see that.
So
Yeah,
you-
you see all the lists of the government organizations are in the same damn building. All these ones are footsteps away from each other. Makes it easy to cool behind your
Of
back.
course.
You know, it's crazy. You're from BC, so you probably don't know that Han George Wise, if you look up that name, he's the one that funds it through billions of dollars in the back door to Trudeau. He used it to get his MPs, and then for elects his MPs and just give the damn money right back to the same NGOs, and that's fascism at the core.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean?
We're just gonna put
Stakeholders.
some back there. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you tell everybody again the address in the Byward Market? Who's the troublemaker?
Oh yeah,
That's where
okay.
we have to
So
go.
the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, like our friend said back there, we're all come together close so they can network together. The Federation of Canadian Municipalities is at 24 Clarence Street in the Byward Market, and I went there the other day, and high security building. And beautiful courtyard that we can do demonstrations in, called the Joan of Arc Courtyard.
Yay.
And that just meant so much to me to go there and see that, because it just shows me that we're on the right track. A friend of ours, Nico, made me an AI thing after what we did here in Ottawa. We're all heroes. I look around at all of us who are here in Ottawa, and it's like I see heroes everywhere.
Amen.
And I love like looking back at the heroes of the past and seeing who we resonate with and inspire us. So he made me into Joan of Arc a few months ago.
Amen.
I had that on my Facebook profile.
That's your nickname?
So when I walked by and
Yes.
staked out this building to walk around and find myself in the Joan of Arc courtyard, I was like, oh my goodness. We're on the right path.
Yes.
So let's hope that my end is better. than
That's
Joan of
awesome.
Arc's.
You're working on a
Yeah, we'll just, yeah.
you're working on a deputation template for me to use?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I just released it this morning.
Did you?
Yes, I released one on Gather 2030 this morning.
Okay.
And
What is that on Facebook?
it's on
Somewhere.
YouTube. Sorry, it's on YouTube. It's
Okay,
also on
sure.
Substack.
Okay.
I have little cards for you guys, and
Can I?
yep, I'll give you a card. And the slideshows are also there. And what we can do, depending on what the agenda items are, show you.
Well, it makes it easy that you have made a deputation template because I can't figure it out. I'll just do it.
So this I just released this morning.
Revised deputation
And
script.
it's basically a deputation template script. And what you can do with it is insert, your name, the agenda item that you're there to address, and and I give an example of the Peterborough Environmental Committee reports and what I looked for there. So it's quite easy when your municipality is partnered with this program, because you're going to find words like actions required to achieve net zero by 2050, vague references to targeting your mobility. Maybe your city, like ours, has declared a climate emergency or is participating in KICLEI Canada's programs and receiving grants from them. And how happy they are that the COVID-19 pandemic reduced our greenhouse gas emissions and modified our travel patterns, right? So
Change
you're
our
gonna see stuff
cultures,
like that in
burnt
your
our
environmental
churches.
committee reports. So you just kind of start it off and just bring in that agenda item, because you have to speak to an agenda item. Okay, guys?
And we can ask
And
you
then
questions.
It's really hard for you to find the things to speak to. Let me tell
And
you.
if we have questions, we could just contact you and you could just tell us.
Yes, and I'm doing Friday night Zoom meetings.
Good.
Too. So everyone can come into the Friday night Zoom meetings, and I'll give an update and a quick run over of the step-by-steps. And then there'll be questions, and we have counselors and retired mayors and city planners and stuff like that. People who know this information that are all coming together from across the country now. And so again, there's a certain flow to the deputation. So
Hi,
you want to
Albert.
address your agenda item.
Hi,
You want
Lise.
to note that
Ruth.
the municipality joined with this, the joining resolution
Kat.
and the joining motion, and you provide that to
You're
them,
watching
that piece of paper,
Maggie Hope.
put that in front of them, right?
There's no
Okay,
climate
we noticed your
emergency,
environmental committee says this.
and
Just
she's
so
worked
note,
on a
did you know your
deputation
municipality partners with this program?
template for us
And
to
then you go
bring to our
into it,
corrupt
and you
mayor.
talk about how that program started.
Yes.
Give them the history of the United Nations and how our country's being governed.
That's a
by
template she's got going.
And how in
And
1994, FCM
on Friday night,
program
if we have any questions, she's willing to answer how to understand what we're going through.
Through Canadian municipalities, and that the
Definitely a coup.
program is a means of implementation, and their supporting rationale is that extreme weather events are increasing in frequency, and we agreed to climate to the Paris Climate Accord, and then we give them here's some other considerations, you know. We bring forward the World Climate Declaration and some basic scientific facts and studies that are well peer-reviewed, and we give them all the references to that, and then we talk about, well, it says, we've already covered the benefits of the program, and of course it's free, so what's the catch?
Tax funded.
And then we go into the disadvantages, your municipal plans, your official plans, and your council's ability to make decisions outside of UN directives are all being affected by this program. And you
And,
might want to reconsider that, considering your environmental committee reports are talking about targeting our mobility, which is a violation of our sacred mobility rights. And did you know that regardless of Canada being a UN member, no level of government has the authority to implement foreign mandates, treaties, policies, or any agreement that violate the Canadian Constitution?
That's right.
Run them through the list, right?
That's right.
And did you, end of note, conspiring with foreign powers to assist in any act preparatory to the takeover of our nation is an act of treason according
That's right.
to the Canadian Criminal Code 46.1.
That's right.
Okay? So
Yeah.
we relate it there, and then we let them know, thankfully this program is voluntary. This program is voluntary.
But necessary. But necessary.
I want to remind them that the Canadian government holds no liability for this program, so who is holding that liability? And we'll let them know that there are a few notices of liability floating around being already.
So this is a deputation template that she has worked on. Maggie Hope worked on a template for a deputation served to the mayor of the city you live in.
City staff is not government, and that the mayor and council need to step back into their authority, because it's been taken from them. When it's taken from them, they can no longer protect us, and it's getting to the point that we really need them to step back into their authority and to step up.
Yeah.
just like the counselor and Joe Drummer said.
And she made it easy by working on a template for us to follow and then send it to the mayor. Because this climate crisis is fake, a hoax.
That council direct staff to locate any motions to participate in any UN directed programs, and we're going to make a list for them, and that the council of the corporation of the city of Peterborough has partnered with since 1992 for reconsideration. We want them to reconsider these motions, but we can be even more specific. We can just address the Partners for Climate Protection Program, right? Just simply that. And if you can't get that motion from your clerk, you can simply just say that that council rescind the motion to participate in the FCM KICLEI Partners for Climate Protection Program, and we give them the year that they partnered, and we get and ask them to direct the staff to find it. Sometimes the staff doesn't want to help us when they know what we're on to. Some of them don't. If you're calling your city staff, I recommend talking to not the higher up city staff. Find the nice people who are not in on it to talk to.
Not,
Not in Ottawa.
that's right. Not in Ottawa.
And I like to close by saying,
Okay.
that we're asking the mayor and council to consider our recommendations and to consider the many people who are here to represent. We like to bring a lot of people when we do our deputations. That does make a difference. And to consider all the good people all across this country who lay awake at night wondering what the hell has happened to this country and what we can do about it. And let them know they're the ones that need to do something about it.
And they're not alone.
And they're not alone. And with that, yeah, that's the I've obsessively been making slideshows for everyone, deputations, so if you go and download it, it might change in a week, so double check, because I'm trying to make it better and better and better. And with this slideshow, I'm going to put all the speaking notes, so you can print it off, Google Slides, and have all your speaking notes, and have the pictures, the references there, and just present the information, just speak it forward. When I first did this, I called it Speak Truth to Power. And like I said, the council is the governing authority over the municipality. They are the ones who make the decisions. So we need to speak the truth to those who can make the decisions and hope that truth has an effect on the heart. So, yeah.
So the ultimate goal, have all the municipalities reject this agenda, right?
Yes, that's right. And it's not just this program. The entire Federation of Canadian Municipalities is pushing nothing but sustainable development, and it's, again, a voluntary membership. So our municipalities don't need to be linked up with it. Yes. So we're trying to draft notice of liability to go along specifically with this information. There are great notices of liability on smart cities and stuff.
Maggie, is there a financial incentive to the city council, federal mayor, and the city when they do something?
Yeah, they get grants, and there's something called the Municipal Green Fund. But the Federation of Canadian Municipalities costs money to be a member of as well. So, and the fact is for the smaller municipalities, for sure, it's not worth it because it's just killing. It's driving all growth out. So the bigger cities might be getting more out of the deal. Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, the notices of liability are coming out. The other thing we're working on a whole bunch of stuff to go along with this.
Just follow Maggie.
We've been here today. We had some great people come in, and what the mandates did over COVID is push all the competent people and all the courageous people out of the institutions, and now we're all kind of sitting here wondering what to do with our skills and how we can fix this big problem. So we're all slowly finding each other and starting to learn, okay, how to work together and how to make projects and programs that will actually make a difference, right?
Like homeschooling our children.
And with that, I'm really thirsty for some water.
Me too. Well done, Maggie. Well done. See you Friday. Woo!
Yeah, Friday nights at 7 Eastern on Zoom. So
Thank you so much, Maggie.
When they're not, when they're not volunteer, when they're not involved in this, like, how do we know? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, you can go to their website.
And then they're not on.
Yeah, they won't be on. They won't be on the
there.
map.
Has anyone backed out yet? Off there?
That was cool.
Thank you.
Follow Maggie Hope
We're working on it.
on Facebook and YouTube. She's smart, organized. She has a template. She's been working on a template for us to go through and send it to our mayor. We don't want climate change agenda in Canada. It's up to us. Refuse it. CO2 is life.
And we're really happy
Bye
by
for
the
now.
women's oral.
I'll